throughout all of rap music's incarnations, throughout all of its consistent evolution, changes, genre clashing, genre infusing, there's been one core aspect that is very integral, very important. It's one aspect that cannot be faked, mimicked, and that's authenticity. That authenticity is what sets out individuals like Tupac, Biggie, Eminem, Redman, not Grandmaster Flex, Kendrick, your JPEG Mafias, for crying out loud. It sets them apart from your CJ Whoopties, your Maddox, the people sound like Maddox, your fucking Forbats. That authenticity is what makes these individuals different. That authenticity is what allows you to form a personal connection to what they're saying on these songs. And to me, that's the single most important element that's present within hip-hop. But interesting enough, for me, one of the best ways that I can tell that authenticity apart is the diction, the presentation, the imagery of the artist in question. It's why a lot of people for the longest time thought that Drake is a softie, a cornball. The whimsical Canadian could never do anything bad at all on the same level of being compared to a mob boss. It's laughable. Alas, the point that I'm making here is authenticity is king. You can't fake influence, so to speak. But how does that exactly relate to the topic at hand? See, Street Fighter 6 main vocal track that I'm familiar with is Not on the Sidelines. The main theme of the track is perseverance through hard times. In fact, an interesting detail is that apparently the only way the song can be played in-game is after a 10-win streak in ranked, making that I Can't Back Down hit 10 times harder. The song features vocals from two artists, Rocco 808 and Randy Marks. Rocco 808, from at least what I can gather from his very limited discography, comes across from a background of making Afrobeat music. I don't know if that's the right term for the genre, but generally speaking, it does sound quite nice, and Randy comes from a more traditional rap background. Randy Marks is a Latin American Rod Wave. I don't mean that as a diss, it's just hard to properly judge an artist when I can only find one song publicly posted. But these combination of different styles should lavishly combine into a beautiful suite of mixed identities, right? Well, it's very weird for me at least. See, Street Fighter 6 is attempting to return to the street and the name, the Street Fighter name, but if you will, the track from me does not do anything to replicate that realness, that Street Fighter experience. The simplistic trap beat in the background is probably the closest thing we get to emanating that feeling. The song does feel epic, it has a big drop, but that's about it. Upon listening to the song multiple times for this video, I think that actually both of the artists sound solid enough, but the vision of the streets that Capcom are attempting to portray lacks that raw, gritty energy. This overall feels like a very corporately mandated interpretation of hip-hop that gives off, usually, I hate hip-hop, but I can get behind this. It's very behind the times. Maybe in like 2013, I would have been fine with this, maybe even enjoyed it, but is this what's supposed to be Street Fighter's big return to focusing more on the street? Along with the game's overall focus on representing cultures through the OST, this does not feel representative of any era, any concept, any subsection of hip-hop, unless you want to say that it sounds like Dax and NF.
A two-pack of ass.
And you can hold that, because I would have wished listening to Dax or NF on my worst enemy. In fact, I'd rather listen to Hobson. I might take that one back. But if Street Fighter 6 rap music is rap in games at its worst, then what is it at its best? Street Fighter 3 was released in 1997. Oh shit, that's the wrong fuck are you talking about? Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is the final rendition of the Street Fighter game, ironically enough being called Third Strike because it's the third fucking version. Use your brain. Well, why else would they call it Third Strike? And all I've got to say is thank Christ that the practice of dropping an updated fighting game multiple times within a quick period, for the most part, is dead. But beyond that point, Third Strike exists in a phase transition period between the 90s and the 2000s. This soundtrack places a whole lot of focus on emulating that street feeling with funk-infused, sample-heavy, groovy beats that serve as the scene dressing for this game. You can hear it alone in the instrumentation that this game was loud, proud, and had the style to back it up. To realm the vocals for this game, Capcom enlisted the Toronto artist Infinite, allegedly, and again, allegedly, because I haven't found an actual source besides YouTube comments. You know, some people be lying in that bitch. They be lying like hell. But allegedly, Infinite was only given 24 hours to do the game's intro, character select screens, and the credits. Almost similarly to how rapper Hunted P had the Herculean task of recording all of the Knuckles tracks for Sonic Adventure 2. And let's just say, both these men fucking delivered 10 times over. One of the best things about both of these soundtracks is that they meet the level of authenticity the love and care placed into every kick, snare, and melody is felt through the screen. Just as much as I praise these artists for being able to construct such memorable verses in a short time period, the same must be done to the wizards who contributed to the foundation of these songs. The instrumentals, Hideki Okagawa, please tell me I said that right, did his part in constructing the foundations for the stellar soundtrack, while Street Fighter 6 tries to accommodate to all of the many different cultures represented in that game. I think for the most part it does a great job. However, my issues with a lot of the soundtrack in that game is beyond the rap tracks. They don't really go anywhere sonically. These songs all feel like they have a beginning and maybe a slight change up, but that's about it. The songs in that game feel as if they were meant to fade into the background as you vibe in one ear and out the other. To me, that's the biggest difference between the two games. Street Fighter 6 is a jack of all trades, while Third Strike knows what it wants to be and excels at that. Now, am I saying that Third Strike is the better overall game? Nigga, I don't fucking know. Am I saying Street Fighter 6 is bad? Well, no, but actually making this video inspired me to pick the game back up after a long time, and I've been having a blast at attempting to figure out other characters I have not touched yet.
You know what, Robert? Fuck you and everybody who live in your house, huh?
But let's continue this video talking about other hip-hop inspired OSTs. After all, I didn't make a whole Twitter post and ask for recommendations for no reason. Now let's get the elephant out the room. For hip-hop's first big rhythm game-esque thingy that was inspired, it's pretty alright. Originally released on the PS1, Parappa the Rapper is a video game where Parappa must go to rap to impress his bad bitch in his life, Sunny Funny. And you know the worst part is, I know there's someone watching this who was bricked up while looking at her for the first time, and I know what you are. Freakazoid, Freakatron, Freakzilla. Anyways, the main gimmick of the game is that you must follow the inputs to the rhythm as Parappa, kind of like a parrot attempting to rap the missing parts of the lyrics. And looking back at whatever the stupid ass task he's doing, this game is weird. But in the context of the video, I straight up think that this game is devoid of any real hip hop culture outside of the rapping element. But that's not the fault of the game, because Parappa is representative of that 90s era of camp rap. Rap that you might look at as corny, but it makes you feel good. In this category, I would put things like the DK rap and Pokemon rap. I would never listen to these songs on their own, but outside of dicking around with friends, they exist in a cool novelty where I could appreciate what they represented for the time period. And you know, there might be an earworm or two. I love my DK Funky Kong a little bit. But I mean, since we talk about Parappa, we might as well talk about his long lost son. Unfortunately, we are talking about Friday Night Funkin'. Now, I promise we're gonna be quick. Friday Night Funkin's whole premise and claim to fame is that it's a new ground white boy with a bad bitch trying to rap battle a nigga for the love of the game. Or something. I don't fucking know. But because Newgrounds has almost always positioned itself as a counterculture safe haven for a bunch of really talented degenerates, but them Gorners gave us Castle Crashers, so I think all is forgiven. But in particular, what I enjoy about Friday Night Funkin's OST are the tracks where they're actually rapping. Tracks like the Boyfriend Fresh remix, the character select screen with Lotus Juice of all people, and the victory theme with Pico are all examples of the game being confident in its identity and that authenticity in the way that it presents itself. What these white boys don't got in actual bars, They can write a track pretty damn well, and some of the beat work in this game is actually phenomenal. Shout out to Kawaii Sprite. Listen, that white boy got some talent. He got some earworms. But overall, if I had to rank it on the quality aspect of everything in consideration, I would say Friday Night Funkin' meets its assignment. It's confident in the way that it knows exactly what it wants to do, and that feeling, that high energy rush you get from hearing some of these tracks, I think it succeeds in that 10 times over. Now, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I don't know shit about this franchise, but The World Ends With You is something that's I hope to get more involved with, but someone pointed out on the Twitter thread, so I mean I gotta talk about it. The rap tracks present in this game all feel very inspired from the rock, rap, and fusion that dominate the early 2000s, with my really one and only critique is that at times there are a few overly worded flows in the game. Particularly it can be seen on Game Over by Takaharu Ishimoto. But the track feels that it has its own personal identity, while the rapper over the instrumental feels like they are at times fighting with the beat, similar to Daylight, if you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen them, that Joey Badass this, you know what I'm talking about.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. And if there's too many heads in my blunt, I won't spark it out, put it in my pocket and save it like rocket. To everybody's start and it's cool, then I spark it up with my brother. His mama named him Moan, but I call him Moan Lover.
But once a guitar kicks in, I find it has a quite infectious energy. Detonation. Oh, this was the other World Ends review for I think Coda gonna be editing this one. Put this with the World Ends review.
You seen the foundation, holding up a ragged nation. You know it in your mind what it's like and how it lies. You want the right resolution, the right to get another portion. You know now is the time to get ready for detonation.
This is the other song that I heard from the World Ends With You soundtrack. And it's alright. It wears its inspiration on the sleeve. It's not afraid to show them off. But I wish I could talk about the World Ends With You longer, the same way I could do for Xenoblade X. But again, my lack of personal knowledge with the franchise is holding me back. Technically, Splatoon shouldn't be mentioned in this video, is because I'm primarily talking about the rap tracks. But I always got a bat for Splatoon's hip-hop representation is found in the alternate costumes for Pearl and Marina, the in-universe aesthetics and clothing, among other aspects. If I had to make a comparison, Pearl is like, off the hook is like Kendrick and SZA, except if Kendrick was short. Wait, fuck, he already is. Kendrick and SZA, but Kendrick can't say nigga. Yeah, that's the best analogy I can make to the white people that are probably gonna be watching this video. Most of Off the Hook songs feature Pearl's gremlin ass trying to spit some actual heat, would probably fall into the category of pop rap. They're nice when they are around for the most part, and they fit right in with the atmosphere of the song and are great for both the in-context situation and representation within the game world and the soundtrack. It's just kind of hard to critically engage with Pearl is saying because of the way these tracks are recorded being mostly gibberish, or as Twitter might have convinced you, piss gargling noises. But still, what representation Off the Hook lacks in songs, they make up for it more than 10 times over in their game world. If you want to see a video specifically talking about this, look no further than this one right here, made by this guy, Jaiki. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's a really great video in its own right, along with being a source of inspiration for me even making this one. But, you know another Nintendo game that does incorporate some hip-hop elements in the soundtrack? Xenoblade X. This section, just like the World Ends With You, is going to be very light because I have not gotten far enough into this game to see the bigger picture of how everything fits together. But holy hell, for a game with one of the central locations being a new version of Los Angeles, literally called New LA, I think I really fuck with these songs. The main inspiration present within the delivery of these songs is the Beastie Boys. It's so funny listening to the soundtrack stepping into New LA for the first time. It was a very jaw-dropping experience. I mean, the moment I heard the fucking Yakuza sub-story as guitar and the ensemble of beatbox and the competition of and the combination of the yo, yeah, bow bow bow, yo, yeah. I started fucking crying from laughter, but while it may sound off-putting at first, I quickly warmed up to it so much.
distant land. We're stuck on a whole different planet. No peace looking at the sky. Trouble's always all around, so we stay quick with the guns and cannons. Standing as long as you can until we get all dolls up. Then call our bets off. We'll blow the guitar. Dealing with lives messed up. Bum to the bump, to the bump, to the bass. Bum to the bump, to the bumper.
So far with that game, I'm gonna be real with y'all. My standout tracks are Black Tar and Melancholia. I think that's how you say it. Again, my shift and my preferences could very well change with the further I get into that game. But man, something that I can't talk about and I'm gonna highly recommend is Mad World. Mad World was only a game that I slightly heard about in my times on the internet. But when one of my Twitter mutuals recommended me a song from Max Anarchy, spoiler, I didn't fuck with anything in the OST as much as I did with Mad World, but from what I can gather, the rappers that appear on this OST are all local artists who are on the come up, which adds to the real rawness present within these tracks. The entire OST was inspired by, why did I write Jay Lincoln and Park and Jay-Z and Linkin Park's collab album Collision Course. The album consists of mashups between songs, with the most popular being Numb/Encore. And I've got to say, these dudes knocked it out of the park. Ox, Noah Reyes, Purpose, Optimus, and Sick YG. All of these dudes sound completely within their element over these instrumentals. But what shocks me beyond this is the producer behind the madness, Naoto Tanaka of Platinum Games. In fact, to create a soundtrack that was not true Japanese style, that is what led Naoto to finding these local artists and wanting to create something for the game Mad World that was kind of more in the image of America.
Back live to kill it with a squad, so the movement back, maybe the music back. And you got a course side seat to get it straight from the source. How cool is that? So you can hate them, but the truth is that you fucking with the best, and we coming with the new shit, black cheer. I need to know how y'all feeling. I need to know if y'all willing. So raise it up to the ceiling and get it going. We gotta get it up. Let's go, y'all. Let's go, y'all. If y'all ready to ride, if y'all ready to fly, if y'all ready to live. Y'all ready to come on? Let's go, y'all. Let's go, y'all. If y'all ready to move, if y'all ready to fool, if y'all ready to win, if y'all ready to lose.
That was definitely American inspired. And hey, I've got to say, compared to all the previous tracks and previous songs and OSTs mentioned in this video, these guys got it on lock. There is no awkward flow, no awkward rhyme scheme that might feel stilted or anything that would indicate a lack of technical skill in the artist's performance. If I was assigning the rap tracks in these games throughout all of them a passing grade, this is what an A+ looks like. I'm so serious. If there's anything I want you to take away from this video, please listen to this game's soundtrack. But what did we learn today? The best tracks in rap feel natural. They don't feel forced. They don't feel like some corporate nigga in a suit came and fucking lashed a nigga 10 times and said, you're gonna rap over this track. No, it comes off the dome. It comes naturally. I can't read my mail because I'm stupid. I like when they work within the context of the game world and the OST and are very clear with what they want to accomplish and aren't a cheap, hollow impersonation of a style that's been run through a billion different corporate filters. Oh shit, what up, Street Fighter 6? What you doing around these parts? Now, this video is not supposed to be the end-all, be-all of rap in video games. Chances are that I'll probably miss a lot of songs, so definitely leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll probably check them out. But other than that, keep your family safe. Happy Pride Month, happy belated Juneteenth, because this was supposed to be the Juneteenth special, but then I got behind because I got a job. And remember, have yourself a damn good one. Chain chomp, you know, or something, bro. Fuck, my editor is gonna hit me with bricks when he see how long this damn video is.
Trying to make it to your crib. Please, bro, offer me your tulips on my hey. I'm doing.
If I don't get my son back, and I mean real soon, you better kill yourself.